I'm Karen Gray.
And I'm David Bowser.
And we're your hosts today for another Sunday of Mount Zion's Little Known Black History Facts. So far, we've covered a wide mix of topics, and among those areas where our people have had a significant impact is in sports.
Karen, I didn't know you were a sports fan.
David, I'm a married woman. I have to know something about everything, like basketball. Contrary to the current demographics of the National Basketball Association, when the league first started in 1946, all the players were white. The first African Americans didn't play for the NBA until the 1950 season. Chuck Cooper from Duquesne University was the first to be drafted. Nathaniel Sweetwater Clifton was the first to sign a contract, and Earl Lloyd was the first to play in an NBA game. The first black pro team was the Spartan Braves of Brooklyn, which became the New York Renaissance, or Rens, in 1923.
Wow, I didn't know all that. Listen, you can't talk about sports today without mentioning the world's greatest golfer, Tiger Woods. Despite his iconic status, it's safe to say the Professional Golf Association hasn't always been in love with African Americans. One of the first blacks to play on the PGA was Dewey Brown in 1928. A renowned golf club designer and teacher, Brown even crafted a set of clubs for President Warren G. Harding. But in 1934, the PGA terminated his membership because they found out he was black. See, during the 6 years he was a member, everyone assumed he was white because he was his light-skinned color.
Did you know that George Grant, a black dentist from Boston, designed the first golf tee registered by the U.S. Patent Office in 1899? John Shippen was the first black American to play in the U.S. Open in 1896. And Joseph Bartholomew, a noted architect, designed and built more than a half-dozen golf courses in the New Orleans area, but because he was black, was not allowed to play on the courses that he built.
North Carolina's own history with golf runs deep. 1955, in Greensboro, North Carolina, 6 black men protested against segregation at a white-owned Gillespie Park golf course. The club would not willingly let them play, but instead of walking away, the 6 men, led by Dr. George Simpkins, Jr., of the local NAACP president, placed their money on the counter and proceeded to play until they finished the 9th hole. That night, 6 golfers were arrested and sentenced to 30 days for trespassing. They appealed to the federal court and won. Gillespie Park was officially ordered to integrate within 2 weeks. But before any blacks could play on the course, the owners closed it and it mysteriously burned down.
And what about tennis? Long before Serena and Venus Williams dominated women's tennis, there was Althea Gibson. In 1950, Althea became the first black woman to play at the U.S. Nationals. She advanced to the second round of the tournament and showed many ignorant tennis fans that African Americans belong on the tennis court. In 1957, she won the U.S. Nationals and Wimbledon and was welcomed home with a ticker tape parade in New York. David, football is your game, right?
Yes.
Who was the first black NFL quarterback?
Well, many would say Willie Thrower. On October 18, 1953, he played his one and only NFL game for the Chicago Bears against the San Francisco 49ers. Others may say Marlon Briscoe, who starred as an AFL quarterback for the Denver Broncos. Regardless of who gets the title, both were influential for shattering the color barrier. Hey, Mount Zion, do you know who the first black NFL players were?
Sure they do. Halfback Kenny Kingfish Washington and end Woody Strode signed with the LA Rams to become the first African Americans to actually play in the NFL. After graduation, Kingfish couldn't join the NFL as blacks were not allowed. But in 1946, when the Cleveland Rams moved to Los Angeles, the commissioners of the LA Coliseum stipulated as part of the agreement that the team be integrated. As a result, the team signed Washington and fellow UCLA teammate Strode.
That's right. His NFL career only lasted 3 years, but the impact on the league was enormous. He was inducted into the College Hall of Fame in 1955, and his number 13 jersey was the first to be retired by UCLA. Okay, Karen, I got one for you. Who was the first African-American referee in the NFL?
Johnny Greer, 1988.
Who was the first African-American to win the Heisman Trophy?
David. Halfback, Ernie Davis, Syracuse, 1961.
Is there anything you don't know?
No. Until next week, remember, you have a right to your own opinion,
But you don't have a right to your own facts. Those are the facts, and now it's a wrap.
If I was the devil, tell you what I'd do. I would try to deceive you and get you into error. I would get you off base. And if you still stayed true, I would try to disqualify you. I would get you immoral. I would get you where no one would believe what came out of your mouth. I would make you a tabloid where nobody believed you. I would remove your confidence where you were afraid to speak because your life was such a shambles. I would get you into sin. I would prowl like a roaring lion to devour you morally. And if I couldn't do that, I would try to make you successful. And I would distract you if I couldn't disqualify you. I would get you busy. I would get you so distracted and disattracted from the gospel that no longer would your prayers be about holiness and souls. They would only be about the bottom line in your business. I would get you materialistic and no longer concerned about the spiritual nature of life. If I couldn't do that, I would divide you. If I couldn't divide you, I've almost lost you. You know what I'd do then? I would discourage you. And then if I couldn't discourage you, I'd try death. I would kill you. I would try my best. That's what I would do to take you.